Hey guys, what's up, man? Here we go. I'm gonna do like a kind of special video. Like, it's not really special, you know what I'm saying, but like it's so close to after the fight that, you know, a lot of times, even though people post like hundreds of like highlight videos of this fight and HBO has their highlights out of it already, the likelihood that I get hit for copyright stuff, even though this video is in accordance with the Fair Use Act and in no way, shape, or form is meant to undermine the rights that HBO has to the content or the intellectual property that they have distributed. This fight, the breakdown I'm going to give gives a new and different understanding of boxing and the techniques and strategies used during the course of the fight, and is used for commentary and criticism only, yada yada yada. But we're going to take a look at this fight, and one of the biggest reasons is like Kovalev is such an underrated fighter. You know, I know like after his losses to Andre Ward, right? You know, whether you think they're real losses or not is not the point, right? But people really get carried away with their understanding of a fighter and where their place is in a division or where their place is in the boxing public after a fighter loses, right? And that's because they don't understand how to qualify a fighter's skills or understand even what skills they have. They just say fighter A beat fighter B, now fighter B is shot, or he's done, or he's not the greatest anymore. And that's what everyone's always looking for. Who's the greatest? Who's the best? You know, and it's like this weird, it's more of the way that they live through their own lives rather than enjoying the sport of boxing, like actually understanding it or watching it. And that's actually one of the things that I love about mixed martial arts and the UFC in general, is because, you know, you get a loss and people understand, you know, shit happens in a fight, you know, whereas the boxing community is so much different. You know, people only care about, oh, who's the best, you know, has he lost already, you know, and some of that is like due to Floyd Mayweather, right? Although Floyd Mayweather like navigated his career brilliantly and hasn't lost, and, you know, gets to say, oh, I'm the best, one of the best ever, because, or even the best ever, you know, whatever, however you see it, right? It doesn't matter, because he doesn't have any losses. And there's a lot of this film study is going to be talking about, obviously, the KO, right? How Kovalev set it up and how it came to fruition. We'll do like a little bit of talking about the pre-fight stuff that I talked about that happened in the fight. But also, I'm going to point out some other things. I want to talk about Kovalev's defense. You know, he's so much more than just an offensive fighter. He's one of the few fighters in all of boxing that I give a 5-star rating or an old school A rating, because he's just so fucking good, you guys. Damn it, I shouldn't have said the F word, because my videos keep getting clipped for that, and losing ad revenue, even though I don't make anything off these videos, like maybe 60 cents a video or something. But let's go ahead and get into the video. And we're going to talk about how the fight winds up, you know. So this first clip right here, what do you notice right away? Let me put this shit in slow-mo too, maybe that'll make it easier. So slow-mo, so Kovalev is probing with the jab, right? And immediately sees that Shabranskyy is looking to counter the jab. Remember, we talked about this in the pre-fight build-up, that Shabranskyy he knows a lot of ways to take away his opponent's jab, right? And a lot of fighters in boxing, they only know one way to maintain and control the distance between a fighter, and that's by punching them in the face with your jab, right? And we're gonna see why that doesn't work, why that's a bad idea. You know, a lot of fighters think, oh, he's got a great jab just because you can punch someone in the face with your jab, you know. But having a diverse jab is what makes it a great jab. And Kovalev has, you know, top-notch, one of the best jabs in all of boxing. And you'll get to see why. Well, actually, you're already getting to see why, right? Ignoring that body shot right there, that right hand. When he comes out with his jab, this is a probing jab. He's not even trying to punch Shabranskyy in the face. He's probing to get a look at what Shabransky's doing, right? And what does he do when he sees the counter? You know, brilliant defense, right? He sees the counters coming. Oh, what if he throws a 1-2, right? And he ducks under what could be the right hand, right? Using defensive responsibility, but also setting up his offense, right? It's not just as easy as saying he's probing with this shot to test him, to look for counters, but he's setting up his offense. So after he figures out what Shabranskyy wants to do in response to his jab and his setups, he's able to make an adjustment and say, okay, so he's doing this, I want to do this, you know, and he'll make an adjustment and give him another look or give him something else. In the very next scene, right, like just a few seconds later, you see Kovalev shoot the jab, and Shabranskyy counters with his own jab, right? They both land, right? But again, Kovalev has the opportunity to test the water and figure out what Shabranskyy is doing. Another thing that he does when he shoots this jab and the counter comes back, he moves back and he moves off the line. Notice he doesn't go straight back, but he moves back and to his left, right? So if a right hand was coming, he's moving off the line as well. It's very slight, it's very subtle, right? But it's still there. This next clip, oh, and we get to see that the way that Shabranskyy reacts to the punches that Kovalev is throwing is by using his jab, right, to create space, right? This is exactly what I just talked about, and vice versa, right? Shabranskyy knows how to take away his opponent's jabs so that they don't have a way to control the space, and he can walk in and pound the body, or, you know, throw punches upstairs and knock people out. But also, he shows it that he's using that same strategy himself. That's how he understands the jab as well, by using the jab to keep Kovalev off of him by trying to punch Kovalev in the face, right? And we'll see how that backfires. So this next clip right here, you see Kovalev seeing, and he kind of feints him, right? Steps in and then gets Shabranskyy. Again, Shabranskyy showing that this is what he knows. This is how he knows how to control the distance. And this is why using your jab as a punch only is bad. This is why it's so horrible, because it's very easy to take advantage of your patterns and your limited boxing knowledge. And that's exactly what happens right here with Shabranskyy, is that he doesn't know any other way to control the distance between him and Kovalev other than by punching. So as soon as Kovalev makes a move into that range of punching range, Shabranskyy has one opportunity, and he has one skill or one technique, right, to stop that. And Kovalev simply slips the shot and lands a body shot, and then is able to get away from the other counters as well. And then again, right away, Kovalev shoots that jab, and then again notices that Shabransky's response to the jab and his opponent throwing punches at him is to use his jab to create space, right? The next clip right here, beautiful boxing right here. So what do we see right here? It doesn't look like anything happens, right? But Kovalev shoots a probing jab, right? This is not a real jab, right? He's not like slamming it, like as we see in this clip right here, right? Boom, he slams it into his opponent, right? And then in this next clip, he kind of hops forward, right? And then look at how he moves so slightly off the line, right? Once he sees that Shabranskyy is not reacting, Shabranskyy didn't throw a counter jab, right? Because it's a probing jab. He's hoping that Shabranskyy is going to throw that jab back at him to counter his jab so he can throw an overhand right. But he notices that Shabranskyy doesn't do anything, and he uses that as an opportunity to set up his offense and says, oh, Shabranskyy just brings up his high guard, so he takes an angle and then throws two more punches because he realizes that Shabranskyy is not looking to counter in this instance. Now, this is his, the very next clip is him using responsible defense. And I talked about this with Shabransky's fight video and how Shabranskyy doesn't know how to do this, right? So what does Kovalev do? He shoots the jab and he looks to land it, right? He's not setting it up as much, right? Kovalev, because he knows already how Shabranskyy is looking to counter, so setting his punches up is not as important in this particular moment because he knows how Shabransky's countering, right? But he shoots the jab, and Shabranskyy slips it, right? Shabransky's made an adjustment. He doesn't want to get hit in the face with the jab. He doesn't want to trade jabs with Kovalev and then maybe get hit with a right hand. So he slips the jab and shoots a jab to the body. And what does Kovalev do? He immediately closes the distance because he missed his punch, right? He missed his punch, and he knows that counters are coming in, so he kind of changes levels a little bit and then gets his glove onto Shabransky's head and pushes him off balance. And what does that do? It stops Shabranskyy from being able to counter him. Again, here we go. Shoots the jab, and he ducks down and controls Shabransky's head so that Shabranskyy can't come over the top with the right hand and knock him out, because we know Shabransky's a big puncher too. Again, right, the same thing, the very next instance, right, 4 seconds later, right, Shabransky's coming in, trying to set up his offense, and Kovalev shoots his jab. Shabranskyy ducks the jab, shoots a jab to the body, and immediately he ducks down again, closes the distance, boom, and then controls him and pushes him off and stops him from landing a right hand over the top, right? There's more to it than that, but that's as far in depth as I'm going to go. And then right here, beautiful right hand, the first right hand that you really see. And after I saw this, 30 seconds into the fight, I knew Kovalev was on the right plan, and he was going to knock this guy out. To be honest, I wasn't sure the guy was going to make it out the first round, but as soon as this happened, right, Shabranskyy, again, right, he doesn't know how to use his jab. He's not setting up his punches. He's not probing. He's not feinting, right, and he just opens up with the jab, and this is why you have to set up your punches, you guys. No matter who you fight in boxing, you have to set your punches up, and this is exactly why. When you get a guy who can time you, and you get a guy who's a decent counterpuncher, and Kovalev is a great counterpuncher, he's able to walk him into this right hand and just land it. Sorry for the bad angle, right? Obviously the ref's in the way or whatever, but it's a beautifully landed shot, all because Shabranskyy, number one, doesn't set his punches up. He doesn't make Kovalev think something else is coming. He doesn't feint or probe, right? And I'm going to be doing a video. I just talked to another guy on YouTube about this, but I'm going to be doing a more comprehensive video about boxing, kind of like an art of war style of boxing for that kind of encompasses all aspects of boxing and all the tricks and the tools that a fighter needs to have, and how to control your opponent, right? You don't just control your opponent with, like Kovalev I was showing, he throws that jab, he misses that jab, he closes the distance, gets his forearm onto his opponent so that he can use his weight and push him around and stop counters from coming, but you also control your opponent by feinting them, right? If I feint a right hand and you go to turn away from a right hand to block it, if I feint that right hand and you turn away, I can now throw a left hook, right? So the whole idea was to throw the left hook, but I needed to control you. I needed to make you make an error in your defense so that I could land the left hook, right? So I make you make a mistake, and that's controlling you. Simply by saying, what do I want my opponent to do, and what do I want to do? And then you merge those two ideas together, and that's how you land your offense, right? That's like the most basic way to think about it. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. I'm not getting too deep. Maybe that's like the most simple way to explain it, and I should have been explaining it this whole time in that way, but a lot of people don't understand or box or know how to fight or anything, so sometimes this stuff goes over people's heads. I know, like, when I've tried to teach my friends how to box, that they're kind of like, dude, you lost me, bro. Can we just hit the mitts, man? And I'm like, fuck you. Okay. But anyway, moving on, right? So he just landed that right hand. Now, again, the same right hand, right? So he sees Shabranskyy landing the jab, and he knows that Shabranskyy is like a very simple, basic fighter, right? So, sorry, we're getting back to this clip. He slips the jab, ducks what could be the right hand, but because it's defensively responsible, still gets away from the jab as well and turns out, right? You notice it's very slight, even though it looks like he's moving back, but it's not. If there was a better angle, you could see it better. But after that, because Shabranskyy is not setting up his punches, again, he just moves in. Kovalev just has to move his head off the line and walk him into a right hand. Again, because Shabranskyy has a very limited jab, right? If he punched any of us in the face, we'd be like, wow, that guy has a great jab, right? Or if he fought a much lesser fighter, like if you watch him fight like probably any other fighter that he's fought, you'd be like, wow, this guy has a great jab if he landed a jab on that guy's face. And the commentators, got a stiff jab, a nice hard jab, you know, this and that. But you can see how limiting it is for him because he's not able to set his punches up with it, because he's not feinting and probing. He's committing to the shot, and that allows Kovalev to say, hey, I know what he's doing, right? Because he knows what he's doing, he can read it. He's able to counter it very effectively. Okay, I'm not sure why the fuck I have this clip in there. I think this was a mistake. But also, Shabranskyy showing, again, that he's not setting up his shots. And it's easy to walk him into a counter. But I don't think that clip was supposed to be in there. My bad, guys. Again, beautiful boxing, you guys. Beautiful defense, right? You can't rely on your defense catching and slipping punches, because as soon as your opponent gives you a feint, right, or they break their rhythm or they break the pattern that they've given you over and over again that you're accustomed to reading, they're going to be able to land a punch because they tricked you, right? Think about what you want to do, think about what you want your opponent to do, and how those things are going to combine. And that's going to allow you to land your offense. So if after this jab right here, whoops, the video kind of froze. After this jab right here, if Shabranskyy had been throwing a right hand over the top like Kovalev had been, right, and he was slipping the shot down to his right, like very similarly to how Shabranskyy does when he shoots the jab to the body, right? And he would duck that way to get away from the overhand right. If Shabranskyy ducked like this now, and instead of shooting an overhand right, shot a right uppercut, he could walk Kovalev into an uppercut, right? Simply by changing his pattern, making a simple adjustment in order to land a very effective shot, right? But Kovalev doesn't even give him that opportunity because he has a responsible defense, right? Rather than allowing his opponent to throw any counter punches, he immediately closes the distance and controls him with his forearm, and that stops Shabranskyy from even being able to throw a punch. It stops Shabranskyy from being able to transfer his weight to get power into any of his punches because he's controlling him. Boom. And now again, we've seen how Shabranskyy reacts to punches coming at him. So now Kovalev jumps in very similarly to how he does when he's shooting the jab, right? Notice how he steps with his jab and comes forward. Shabranskyy reads it as a jab, right? He's able to walk him into this right hand. And there's a better clip of it at the end of the round that I'll show you another reason why that knockdown occurs. But again, Kovalev setting him up very well. Ooh, and this is Kovalev again with his up jab where he shoots it kind of up, right? And that allows him to shuffle forward, right, and land the right hand. The reason he doesn't land the right hand in this instance, and this is exactly what Kovalev wants to do. He did this very exact, and I talked about this in the pre-fight breakdown of Shabransky's video. He does this exact same thing to Andre Ward, where he shoots the up jab, closes the distance when he gets the counter, and then counters over the top. He does it to Andre Ward a few times in their fight. But if you look at Shabranskyy, when he shoots the jab, rather than just coming forward or bending at the waist, notice how he moves off the line, right? And he doesn't stay there, and that's the reason why. He also kind of catches Kovalev with the jab. I'm not sure if it's in the chin or in the chest or what, but it kind of pushes him off balance a little bit, right? Style of control, right? If you can push your opponent off balance, stop them from rotating their hips and getting power into their shot. But it's mostly because he moves off the line in that case. But Kovalev does a good job of baiting the jab so he can shoot a shot over the top of him. Now, again, Kovalev demonstrating responsible defense, right? Shoots that overhand right. And now, after the knockdown, right, Kovalev is not able, his opponent is making an adjustment now, right? So he makes an adjustment, ducks the shot, because we already saw what happens when he fakes the jab, right? Steps in and throws the right hand, he knocked him down. So Shabranskyy makes an adjustment, ducks the shot, and what does Kovalev do? He says, nope, nah, and he controls his head, right? And look at how he holds him down. This is a little excessive, you know, I wouldn't teach my fighter how to do this if he was my fighter, right? What you want to do is after you miss that right hand, you put your forearm down on top of their head. And Errol Spence does this very well in his fight against Chris Algieri when he misses one of his shots. But you shoot it over the top of them, put your forearm on their neck, right? And then when your arm is extended over your left leg, you drag your right arm back across your body and pull their head with you so that their head is going to come up around your arm. And it'll kind of bring Shabransky's head around from here down this way and under Kovalev, right? And that'll allow Kovalev to turn out this side, right? Because it allows him to shift his weight. I know that that's probably not super clear, right? How I explained it. But you don't want to hold their head down, right? You can just turn them and turn them out and then take another angle and wind up in a better position than them to land more punches. I don't know why the fuck this clip is in there twice. Again, my bad, guys. I think I just wanted to show the referee telling him not to hold him down. Oh, and then beautiful. This sequence right here is absolutely beautiful. So again, Kovalev goes first. He shoots the jab, and look at the jab, like as it lands, right? This is not a hard, stiff jab, right? This is a baiting jab. He comes in. He knows that Shabranskyy is going to counter the jab with him, and look at how he doesn't extend it. Shabransky's head doesn't even move, right? But Kovalev moves his head off the line because he knows how Shabransky's going to react. This is exactly why you don't control your opponent with a punch only, right? You have to control the distance with your lead hand, make them fight for lead hand dominance, right? Probe out there, put your hand out there, make them work around your lead hand before they come into punching range, right? But the fundamental mistake that Shabranskyy is making is that he's waiting for Kovalev to initiate offense before he attempts to control the space, and that allows Kovalev to know exactly how he's going to react, right? Basically, Kovalev is telling him, hey, I want you to throw your jab. I want you to control the space. So he initiates the jab, gets Shabranskyy to shoot the jab out, and he's able to slip it because he knows it's coming. And Mayweather is great at this as well. There are some clips where he does this against there's a great clip where he does it against Oscar De La Hoya, and it's beautiful. And a great clip where he does it to Canelo Alvarez. And I went back and rewatched it, and Canelo Alvarez still has that same, when he steps, he shoots his jab, that same timing against Mayweather. And Mayweather is able to feint him into shooting that jab, slip it, and land his right hand on the outside. And then, boom, he's able to land that shot. And look at this power right here. Boom! Like, that short right hand right there, he's able to get all his weight into it. Just beautiful boxing from Kovalev. And this is why he's one of the best fighters in the world. Now, this is the clip I told you I was going to go back to. So he steps forward, and you can't see it. You can't see it. The clip starts late, right? Because HBO wants to only show highlights. But he steps forward like he's going to shoot the jab. Shabranskyy looks to step with his own jab. As you see where his feet are right now, and you can see his weight transferring, going from his back foot and going to his front foot, his left leg, and his weight comes up off the ground. And the reason that he falls down here is not because he's super hurt, but because he does get hurt a little bit, but because he's stepping and taking his weight off of his back leg, and then he loses his balance. As you see, his left leg his back leg, his right leg comes out from under him, and he falls down. And it's not because it's a super hard punch, even though it's very well set up from Kovalev. It's because he doesn't keep his back leg on the ground. Now this is the slow-mo replay of the next knockout. You can see Kovalev shooting his jab, right? Or the next knockdown, shooting his jab. Shabransky's head doesn't move at all, right? Because it's a probing jab. He walks him into it and lands that huge right hand. And that's the right hand that, well, this is the right hand that knocks him down, basically. But look at this monster shot right here. Boom! Just wrecks him. And again, you know, just a great work from Kovalev, and that's the end of the round right there. Getting into the next round, again, very smart defense from Kovalev, right? Shabranskyy shoots his jab, right? Kovalev rocks back, and what does he do? He controls the distance between them, right? Now, I'm just highlighting a little bit of his defense because he's very, very, very underrated as a fighter. But anyway, he probes with the jab, and he makes Shabranskyy think that there's offense coming, right? So boom, shoots. Oh, and first off, let's put it in real time, just real quick. He feints him, right, and steps forward and makes sure that Shabranskyy is still reacting in the same way. Again, Shabranskyy tries to control the space with his jab, right? And in order to stop Shabranskyy from following up on this, he controls him with his lead hand by showing him the jab, right? Controlling that space, and then Shabranskyy moves back away from the shot, thinking that more punches might come as well, right? Beautiful boxing from Kovalev. I just saw one clip. Oh, no. Then the next clip, shooting the jab and probing, right? Remember how I showed you guys earlier that he probes with the jab and he does a little up jab kind of thing? So here he is, up jab, right? And moves off the line, waiting for Shabranskyy to counter him with the right hand. And then shooting the jab again to control him after, right? As he moves off the line. Oh, man. And then Shabranskyy falls for the trap again, right? And you can see Kovalev's lead hand right here. He flares it out, right? Makes it look like he's shooting a jab, steps with the shot, just like he did a second ago, right? And Shabranskyy bites on it again and walks into the right hand. Again, exactly why you don't control the space between you and your opponent with the hard punch, with the hard jab, right? Why you need to always be controlling it if you're going to control it. And you don't just have to do it with your lead hand. You can do it with feints. You can do it with head movement. You can do it with your rhythm while you're having an active guard. But that's another thing that Shabranskyy doesn't have right here is an active guard. He's not moving at all. He's not shuffling. He doesn't move his head at all. And it's so easy for Kovalev to time him and walk him into shots. Now this is something that was really interesting to me because it doesn't look like this is a super hard punch, right? But it looks like it rocks Kovalev and sends him off balance. And to be honest, that kind of has me a little worried for him in the rest of his career and maybe fighting a big puncher like Stevenson. Even though I think that he's a much better fighter than Stevenson, I don't know exactly how he reacts when he fights southpaws, especially a big, powerful southpaw like Stevenson. But I would still give him the skill edge. Again, beautiful boxing from Kovalev right here, showing his defense. Shoots the jab, right? And it kind of misses, it slides off his face, but what does he do? He controls Shabransky's head when Shabransky counters. Boom. Controls his head and doesn't allow him to come back with the right hand. Doesn't allow him to transfer his weight. Beautiful boxing. And this, again, beautiful boxing again, right? Probes with the right hand, probes with the left hook, and then Shabranskyy starts coming back with shots, and Kovalev gets his guard up. Look at how he brings his shoulder up, brings his elbow up, and that's going to allow him to deflect the possible right hand that may come over the top from Shabranskyy. Beautiful boxing. And then the very next clip, whoops, I didn't mean to have this in there twice, my bad. But in the very next instance, again, another instance from him having good defense. Shoots the jab, gets countered, and look at how he ducks away from the shot, right? And then gets his forearm onto Shabranskyy and turns and moves off the line and stops him from coming back with the right hand. Beautiful defense, you guys. Kovalev is a very, very underrated fighter. Now again, Kovalev baiting him into the same exact exchange because Shabranskyy doesn't know any different, right? I think that kind of got messed up a little bit, but let's put it back in real time so we can get this. Shoots the jab, right? Baits the jab out from Shabranskyy, even though he eats one of his own, and lands a big right hand. And I think that actually hurt him. And again, beautiful boxing, you guys. Whoops, let's do that breakdown right there. Feints him with the inside shot, right? Feints him with the jab, right? Shabranskyy ducks under and tries to shoot a counter jab, right? And tries to, like, you know, duck down, shoot a jab to the face. But he's already been baited by Kovalev, and then Kovalev lands a big right hand. And then it looks like he lands like maybe a left cross in there. But then, using defensive responsibility, slips the next shot and moves off the line. Like, just watch this sequence one more time. Beautiful boxing. It doesn't look like he throws a second cross, but able to bait him into that right hand just beautifully. Boom. And then move off the line again. And again, the same exact maneuver, right? Feints inside, shoots the jab, knows that Shabranskyy is going to shoot the jab counter, slips to the inside because he knows it's coming, and walks him into a big knockout right hand. And I think that's the end. Oh, that's not the end of the fight. Then he jumps in again, shoots the jab. Look at how he closes the distance this time, right? Knowing that the counter is going to come, he moves. He closes the distance and then shoots the overhand right. Just beautiful boxing from Kovalev. To be honest, one of the best fighters in the world, hands down one of the absolute best, offense and defense. You know, Kovalev is very underrated. Here's the highlight of it. Beautiful. You get a little better of an angle. Shoots the jab, right? Not a huge jab, but he's only baiting the counter, right? And is able to walk him into these great shots and knock him down again. Beautiful boxing from Kovalev. He did a wonderful job in the fight. Took very little risks. And also, like, that's the whole idea of boxing, you guys. And that's the whole reason, like, you can win a fight without these skills, right? You don't have to control your opponent. You don't have to set your punches up. You don't have to do any of that shit, and you can still win fights, right? Look at Keith Thurman, right? Danny Garcia, that's a great example. He doesn't know how to do any of that shit, and he's still able to win fights. But look at how close his fights are, you know? The reason that you want to set your punches up, the reason that you want to use feints, the reason you want to use probes, the reason you want to do all of this stuff is so that you can mitigate the risks that you take, right? Because as you can see in the fight with Shabranskyy, like, Shabranskyy never sets his shots up, right? Boom, right? Eats a body shot right there, right? Never sets his shots up. He doesn't feint, he doesn't probe, and he's constantly walking into big punches. Let's see, like this one right here, when Shabranskyy does come forward, and also, this is really important about Kovalev, right? Notice that most of the punches that Kovalev landed throughout the fight, they were counter punches, right? He was baiting, he was the one going forward, but he was also baiting Shabransky's jab so that he could land overhand rights, right? Because when you throw punches, you're out of position. And the whole idea about boxing and having a safe offense is finding ways to get your opponent out of position. I've talked about this a few times before, but that's a lot of times why you see really quote-unquote high-level guys having a stale fight, and they call it, this is a very tactical battle. You know, it's not tactical. It's a bunch of guys standing in the ring that don't know how to make their opponent make a mistake so that they can walk them into shots. They don't know how to do that, so they instinctively wait for their opponent to make mistakes, right? It's not tactical. It's not a technical fight. That's what you call it. That's what flawed boxing analysts call it, a technical fight. It's not a technical fight. It's a lack of understanding of how to set your punches up, right? They've gone to the gym, they've done all the work, they've learned how to throw punches, but no one's taught them how to land a punch. Whereas Kovalev right here, he knows how to get his opponent out of position. He knows that his opponent is looking to counter him, so he baits the counters while moving forward and lands the shots. And this is why you need to set your punches up again. He's able to walk him into that counter right hand. And even though it's the same thing when he's going forward, right? Even though it's the same thing when he's going forward as when he's going backward, like in that instance as well, it's the exact same shot, right? Because he's able to make his opponent make a mistake, and that's the beauty of Kovalev's offense. That's why he's such a great fighter. Is because he knows how to make you make a mistake and counter your reactions. Anyway, this video is way longer than I anticipated it being, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And yeah, I think I'm gonna start working on the World Series of Boxing thing, the cruiserweight thing with Alexander Usyk. I've got his fight. I might do it. I might do that one tomorrow. I might even do it tonight. I'm not sure, but I'm very interested in that. I forgot that was even a series. I've been watching the fights, but I haven't been keeping up with the actual boxing events of it. You know, I didn't even realize that it was a big thing. I don't watch any like boxing media. I don't watch like YouTube videos on boxing. You know, I have like a couple boxing sites where I go to look for like what fights are coming up, like some news articles and stuff, but I don't read them. I just like, oh, is someone fighting someone else? You know, but I don't usually read boxing media and stuff because it's all like, you know, fluff pieces and garbage and people who don't know anything about boxing. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If I'm thinking about doing also Jorge Linares. He has a fight coming up, and Jorge Linares is a fighter that I've been very intrigued with throughout my career, or throughout his career. Yeah, so I might do him next after the World Series of Boxing thing, and talking about who I think is going to win after I do all 4 of the fighters, the remaining fighters. Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Anyway, if you have any suggestions for videos, you know, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. And also, I didn't forget about you, boy. I'll be doing an Emmanuel Augustus film study too, as soon as I do the yeah, I'll do that before the Jorge Linares one. I got you, bro. Later.